Hello and welcome to Chaoko Draws. This is the first time I've done this in about 2 years, I'd say. And I'm just around getting back to it because I looked at the channel and realized, wow, people keep following me here and I'm not doing literally anything. So I thought I'd fix that and update the people that just look at me through YouTube and don't know about my Twitter, which is the only place I'm really active anymore. So, hi, it's been 2 years, I'm 20 now, and my life sucks a lot. But doesn't suck a lot in the art terms, so that's good. I've been doing a lot of projects, a lot of which you will have no idea what they are, because I've only recently been doing them. And I'm going to have to introduce them all to you at the same time during this one video, because frankly, this is one that I came up with just last year, the one that you're looking at right now, and you have no idea what this is. I have given no context via YouTube. So let me just keep you up to speed right now. The characters you're seeing right now are Updog and Combatt. They're from a comic that I've been working on called Kabat. It is a comic that is aimed towards, my current audience, which is essentially furries, which I kind of regret at the moment, but yeah, that's who I'm aiming it towards. But it's a different take on the hero thing, because for those of you who have been here for a while, Cheetah Kid was my original webcomic, and that has since been put on the shelf. I have recently been looking into ways to change it to make it better, but it's been a long time thinking it over, and frankly, that story is just so hard to adapt to a modern time because I've been working on it since 2008. Now, this new story I came up with just from a random concept, like character design. I was working on basic shaped characters and figuring out ways I could do that with character design, because I hadn't been doing that until recently. And with these characters, I was like, hey, I like these so much, and I'm going to make a full thing out of them. And things were originally going to be in Cheetah Kid. Like, the first concept of them derived from character designs that were going to be in, like, the second season of Cheetah Kid. But I instead decided, hey, you know what? Let's reuse this, and since we're not going to get that far with Cheetah Kid, and we're probably not going to use the tournament arc, which is where they were from, let's use that, start working on simple designs and reworking them. They were originally going to be human, and like I said, I was aiming this more towards the furry audience because I don't really like it appealing towards furries at the moment. Like, I don't mind them. I'm friends with a lot of furries at this point. And there are a lot of chill people. There's also a lot of not chill people, but you know, it's not all of them. It's just the very loud ones that I can't avoid, ever. And, but I also just like designing like cartoon animals. They're fun designs, they make for great, simple shapes. They're great, easy to remember character designs. You don't have to make any like crazy designs like hair and whatnot, or like crazy outfits. But yeah, so I'd started to design them more towards that, and also the concept of making it a less serious comic. Because Cheetah Kid, while it was humorous and like dark. It was dark humor a lot of the time. And it focused on how like hard it was to be a hero and whatnot. Kabat is a lot more just messing around. It's like, think early Dragon Ball, like the very first series of Dragon Ball where Goku's a kid. That's mostly where this comic is inspired, as well as like, you know, Arale and whatnot. There's a lot of inspiration that went into this one, and frankly, I've been just having fun drawing the characters more than I have actually working on the comic. Like, I want to work on the comic, and I'm actually doing a short animation for it that should be releasing this year. That should be uploaded here, actually. Pardon me. And that will give you some context. Not a lot. It's just like the first section of the comic animated, which, you know, also hasn't even been released yet, so hey. But yeah, so I've been working on Combat a little bit, mostly just been drawing them a lot. And so yeah, they are kind of the focus. One of the focuses, I have 3 focuses going on that I'll mention. One of them is Combat. But they are kind of like my current action comic mascots. I don't really work on Cheetah Kid as much anymore, as I mentioned, but I am trying to figure out ways to bring them back in. It's the same universe as Cheetah Kid, though, so that's something to keep in mind. Yeah. And yeah, just a silly little comic. For context, this is also just an Easter drawing. These are not the characters' normal outfits. I may edit in stuff to show you what they look like if I'm not lazy, which I probably will be. But yeah, so normally they don't look like this. These outfits are based on their normal outfits, but this is just an Easter drawing. And I noticed a trend that people, instead of doing, religious or egg candy stuff for Easter, they're like, just draw characters in bunny suits. Or like in either, Playboy bunny suits or full-on bunny suits. So I was like, okay, let me just draw a character in a bunny suit. And so I looked at Updog and was like, yeah, that's the character I'm going to draw in the bunny suit. Don't question me. But I didn't want to draw Combatt in the bunny suit, because A, I thought it would be silly to put a character that's already an animal in another animal suit. Then again, that has not stopped me before, and frankly, I like things that are silly. But the more silly thing to do, and the less, guys can't wear this outfit or whatnot, would get, all power to you, live your best life. I thought it would be equal opportunity to put Combatt in a bunny suit as well. Because frankly, I think he's the only character I could really get away with that without being getting some eyebrows raised at me. He's a silly little round circle bat. He's a goofball. It makes sense to put him in this outfit. Don't judge me. I swear to God, I see you looking at me. Don't do it. I'm looking at you. I don't know. There was a bit I was going to do with that, and I completely botched that. But yeah, I just put them in a bunny suit for Easter. This is the first time I've actually drawn something for Easter, surprisingly. You would think, after all these years, I would do something. I think I was going to make a joke about that every Easter. For Cheetah Kid, I always made holiday stuff. Did not do that for Easter, ever. Not once. So this is the first Easter pick I think I've done. And it's also weird that I didn't do it for the other IP I'm currently working on, which is the thing that you see currently in the right-hand corner, just going mental, just bobbing their head like nuts. And the reason for that is because that's a stream overlay. I like to do streams on Picardo. I'm probably going to move from Picardo at some point because Twitch is getting multi-streams, and that's really the only reason why I'm doing it over there now. Because I stream with other artist friends, and if you want to get notified when that happens, follow me on Twitter, I guess, because I'm not notifying you here. Or am I streaming on here? I might stream on here, but it's just a lot of work to switch back and forth between Picardo. And people want me to be on Picardo because all my other artist friends are on Picardo. But we're gonna try and move over to Twitch if they make that whole squad stream thing public, because I'm not paying $15 to do group streams. That seems a little bit stupid. But yeah, I mean, I get it. It's a less popular streaming service because it's not games and it's all artists, and the only people that would know about it is other artists or people that like art. And it's it's a nice old streaming service. It's just that is very expensive for multi-stream. It's so expensive. But yeah, so that character is my current mascot, the current mascot of Chaoko, the brand. It is what is called a Nachi cat, and that did not exist before I left YouTube. The last time you saw that thing, it was a little orange cat that was just sitting at the corner of my videos, I guess. And even then, before that, I think it was me with cat ears, because I was like, Cheetah Kid's cool, I like Kimomimi. And then I realized, furries are a thing, maybe I shouldn't do that. But now I made a mascot that's a small, fluffy animal creature that isn't my persona. It's just a monster design that I make my mascot. Don't judge me. So yeah, Nachi cats are basically a monster design that I made as a way of appealing to my more furry audience, because this was around the time where I was like, okay, I'm down with the whole furry thing. And then I got more into the fandom, and then I got to hang out with them more, and I was like, I don't really like this. I don't really like this at all, and I don't like just drawing animals. I want to draw human stuff too. Still love drawing human stuff. But yeah, so during one of their species change week things, which is when you take your fursona and make it into another animal for a week. And because I was being cheeky, and I was like, you know what? I don't want to do the typical furry thing. I want to do the animal, the stupid thing. I want to be stupid. So I took the cat, which had at that point become more anthropomorphized, to appeal to my audience. And I didn't like that. Like, I quickly figured out that I did not like that. I didn't like it looking like me. My friends did not like it looking like me, and I agreed with them. So I decided to be cheeky because at that time, people had started figuring out that my name was the same name as a brand of coconut milk. And I decided to be a little bit of a insult to myself and a jab at them to make the mascot look like a coconut. So now the mascot is half coconut. Before, there was a lot more of a fancy design to it. There was like little frills on them. They were very island themed, and then they were also a lot thinner. But briefly after like the week was over, I was like, you know what? I kind of like this. I like the coconut brand. It sticks out. It's more memorable than just a like little orange cat thing. Like I liked it a lot more. It stood out more. It was more memorable. It was less generic. So I decided to keep the coconut cat thing. Later on, the artist by the name of Rick Griffin, who I've done a lot of guest work for House Pets. If you remember from House Pets Fanimated, that thing that failed. Yeah, that was me. I do a lot of House Pets fan work. Not anymore as much because I'm now my own artist. I don't really solely rely on House Pets stuff to gain traction. Plus, I'm also, not as obsessive because I was a teen and I liked things that were like the webcomics. And I was like, whoa, new thing to obsess over. But yeah, now I'm very chill about it. I still constantly read House Pets. It's one of my favorite series. I'm just very less like, wow, amazing kind of thing. I'm just like, that's a fellow webcomic creator. But yeah, I asked him to draw a Nachi cat. And so I hadn't come up with a name for the Nachi cat before. For the longest time, it was just the Chow cat, because that's what people called my mascot. So, the Chow cat is the thing I told him to redraw, because I had a Patreon request sketch, and it was my first time doing it, so I was like, I'll have my favorite artist draw my OC thing. And then he did it, and it was like chubbier. It was like a little bit more defined with the hands. They didn't have the frills on it. I think that was around the time I got rid of that. And I think I added the bark on the legs, but like I think all the design pieces that were there I made, because I did make a second version right after I made the initial like very coconut like tropical themed one. And so what Rick ended up doing was something a bit more chubby than what like I drew. And that's just his style. But I looked at that and I said, hey, I like that. I'm going to steal it. So, from then on, I only drew Nachi cats like that. I didn't draw them in the thin way as I used to, like my old mascot was. So now, that's the staple look of a Nachi cat. Now, come like a year later, 6 months later about, I decided, hey, I don't like people calling this my persona. So, I'm going to make this a random enemy in my RPGs, which I have not released any of, besides Threadbound, which had a demo release for a crossover with another webcomic called Star Warriors, which you can look up on my itch.io, which I'll link in the description or put up an annotation or whatever the hell YouTube's doing at this point. So yeah. What's this thing? Yeah. So I ended up deciding that I was going to make it a monster design instead of just a random little mascot character. Because frankly, I don't like personas, I don't like fursonas, I don't like either of those. It makes me feel weird when there's a character design that's attached to me specifically. I'd rather just have a character that looks cute and you could put up in front of people and say, hey, buy my shit. So, yeah, that's what I ended up doing. And, I ended up giving them a bunch of lore pages. There's a whole series of sheets of like things about Nachi cats, and they're going to be having their own game soon, and that will be tied to a Patreon that I'm going to be opening up around the time of May. Like I think I'm going to try open up in early May or on my birthday, which is going to be May 23rd, which I will then dub Nachi Cat Day, I guess, and I will release the game in an alpha early access version for people to play. It'll be a just pay what you want kind of thing, or you can subscribe to the Patreon, or you can just buy it off itch.io for like whatever price you want, or nothing. I don't know how those things work. I wouldn't mind if people got it for free because it's more of a passion project. But yeah, it's like they're like Chow in a way, but more deadly, and they're acidic, and frankly, they could destroy the world if you just let them do their thing. They're a parasitic creature that spreads their pollen onto other plants, and then that plant or tree, either one, becomes a nest for Nachi. So Nachi eggs will start popping out from there. Usually it's only one per pollination. But yeah, until those just keep spreading, and there's like the whole royalty system, and then there's like higher up Nachi and whatnot. So yeah, it's the whole thing about that. Also will probably be linked in the description, or I'll put them on screen. Just go to my Twitter, just go to my DeviantArt or something, like, you'll find the pages there. Eventually I'll make a section for my monster stuff. They will be making more monsters, because they're just another random encounter. In the game that I'm making, they're like Chow-like pets, but in any other game, they're just random counter enemies. Or party members, I might do that as well. Might make them a D&D monster class as well. Besides that, the other thing that I'm currently working on is a game called AKB. And this is not something that I've advertised on YouTube at all, or many other platforms besides the areas I usually upload to. It is a boxing game in the style of Punch-Out. Like, the current one I'm working on is AKB Underdog, and that one is about, like, an uprise of animal people. Because, again, appealing to animal people that like me drawing animals, I guess. Like, having a sort of uprising against humans, because humans are oppressing them, and like they're looked down upon, and because your character is a like animal boxer, they're no one expects much of them. They're the underdog. They're literally a boxer dog. It's more self-explanatory than it is. I'm very bad at describing things. My English has gotten progressively worse. I've gotten dumber. I don't know how, but I have. Going to college did not help at all. But yeah, that's a game that I'm currently working on. There's currently 2 demos out, an alpha demo and a April Fool's demo, where you get to fight the octopus, which some of you will remember from my previous April Fool's shenanigans. Yeah. So that's the game I'm supposed to be mainly focusing on. The problem is I don't like working on it, because it's not a game I wanted to work on at all. It was a game that I showed a little bit off because it was one of those random moods where I was like, oh, I'll just send out this tech demo of something that I've been making. I made a Punch-Out, like, woo. And then people were like, yo, you're making a Punch-Out game? Keep making that. And I was like, okay, I want likes, I want follows, I want money. And I was like, I'll keep making this because people seem interested, and I think it's fun at the moment. And then, you know, the more I work on it, the more I'm like, hey, this is going well, I'm going to keep making this game. And then I decided to make it one of my main games to focus on. But unfortunately, the original game I was going to make with it ended up being scrapped at the moment. Because the engine I was using, which is Click Team Fusion, could not handle the 2D animation I was doing. I was doing full-on 2D animation for the game. And it just could not handle it. So, instead, I decided to make one more in the fashion of Punch-Out NES instead of Punch-Out Wii. And the whole point of it was that in the original game, you were the only human fighting a bunch of animal characters that were all a bunch of jerks. And they're all racist to the human. This one, the current one, AKB Underdog, is a prequel to that where you're playing as the human's trainer. And it's the story of how he became champion, and then the animal uprising happened, and then he felt bad. And then he gave up boxing for like 20 years, and then they found this one human boxer, and he was like, hey, I'm gonna train you. So, that's what's currently going on. And that game's what I'm supposed to be focusing on, but unfortunately, like most other things that I work on, furries ruined it for me. And I don't mean offense to that, to any of the cool furries that watch me. It is just that the ones that found me through AKB, there's a whole boxing fetish thing, and I am not about it because I am a boxer myself. When I went to college, I did a lot of boxing, and I was technically undefeated. I won one match judged by our coach, who was technically a referee, and it was sanctioned by them. So technically, I have won once, and I have not lost at all. Despite the fact that I fought someone 3 times my weight class because there's no one else in my class that is 125 pounds. And nearly lost. I didn't technically lose. Neither of us lost. But I probably would have lost. But, yeah. So I don't really take kindly to that, and I feel very uncomfortable with it. And it just makes it very bitter for me to work on it. I don't like feeling objectified. I don't like my work feeling objectified unless I specifically draw the characters to be very objectified, in which case, you can make all the mature artwork you want. I don't care. As long as you're making art, I'm fine. I'm also an adult now, so I can look at this stuff. Wink. Yeah, so I'm in a mixed place with that, and there's also the whole life stuff where it's like, I'm in a position where I don't have a job currently. I had a job, and I lost it because of my home situation and all the stress going on with that. I also had a partner at one point, and then she unfortunately died, and that's still... I've mostly gotten over that, but, every now and then it comes up, and that's why I lost my first job, because I was so distraught that I was like, I just quit. And then the second job, it was a different kind of distraught that I'm still trying to get away from. And I ended up getting fired. And then I took time from that to work on my stuff, and I've gotten a lot of traction recently. And theoretically speaking, if I were to just release one game, or start allowing myself to take money from people, and make things for them consistently and be a business, like opening up a Patreon that I've been neglecting to do for 2 years, I might be able to make it on my own. At least a little bit. At least enough to move out again. Or move out in the first place. I was gonna move out, but then, home situation, I couldn't do it. So, I need to save back up again, because I'm desperately in need of moving out. I cannot stay here much longer. I'm going insane. Please save me. But, yeah, so I'm essentially just trying to work on moving out. And to do that, at this point, I've not been able to get a job because I've recently, the past week, started looking into jobs. I've been getting close, it's just I haven't found ones that are good, and the good ones that I found, someone got the job before me. So, there wasn't much I could do. I'm qualified enough for this stuff. I actually work at pet stores. That's mainly what I do now. That's what I like doing. I like interacting with animals. And just talking to people that also own pets and working retail. I find retail fun. And it keeps me leveled and makes me work on my artwork more, actually. It's weird. But, yeah, so I could focus on doing all art stuff. And I could be, maybe, a successful artist if I pushed myself and actually treated myself more like a business. But I'm incredibly hesitant to do that. So I decided, hey, you know what? Let me start taking some steps while I'm looking for a job to actually put myself out there and maybe release a game and put out that Patreon. I do have games planned at the moment, and if I just commit to them and fully put it out, I'll be good. Besides that, I've also been doing freelance stuff, but I'm stuck on one freelance I'm almost done with, but I've done art for a kid's book. That's out currently. It's called The Little Red House, and you can find it on Amazon. Unfortunately, the printing of it was a bit messed up inside the book, but it's the only example of printed work of my art, so hey. Plus the person I work with is good, so I like them. But it's also a kid's book, so get it for your kids. I'm also currently working on another book for a teen/kid, young adult novel series, adventure novel series, and I'm doing the cover art for that from the same person, and that's been taking me a long time. But that's what I've been doing. I'm now a professional illustrator. I'm now a game developer. I'm now an animator. I learned how to animate very well. I don't know when I learned how to do that, but I did. I'm now also a pet owner. I know I've always been a pet owner. I'm now a person that sells people stuff, pet stuff. I can tell you how to raise your cat and dog. That's what I can do. Yeah, that's what's been going on in my life. And, frankly, it's been a mixed bag. I'm trying my best to, stay alive, essentially, and not die, and not let myself die, and be successful despite my situation. I feel like if I just really push myself, I can get out of the situation, and if I let people know that I'm still alive, like I am now, because you guys have been in the dark for a long time, but yeah, I'm still making stuff. I recently released a Yoshi animation. That was just on a whim. I did that for fun. But yeah, I've been working on a lot of stuff, like Kabat, like AKB, like Nachi Cats, and like a webcomic that I've also been working on called Probably Puppets, which is originally going to be a cartoon, but now it's just a webcomic that makes no sense. You can find it on my Twitter. Just go to my Twitter, for goodness sake. That's where everything will be. I'm really trying to make a point. Like, if you just go to my Twitter, you will see everything I do. But I will be trying to upload stuff now more than ever. It's just hard to get myself to record things, because most of the stuff I work on is for a game or for a book or something like that. And so I need to take time to just draw single things. I'm going to try and commit myself to at least one Chaoko draws a month. Get people updated. It's also hard to actually find time to just use voice talk. It's very hard for me to find time to use voice talk. But even if that doesn't happen, I'm going to at least try doing some speed drawings as well. I don't know what of, and I don't know what it could be, but I'll be doing it for you guys. Because I know people did like this, and I actually got a few messages saying that people were very inspired when they watched this, and I don't know why. But it made me very, feels, it felt good. Like, I want to keep that up. I want to keep inspiring people. And I'm doing my best to be a service to you, make people happy, make art, and just, do what I love while being successful and not underselling myself, I guess. But yeah, I've also been sharing around with a lot of other cool artists, like Scott Fraser from Star Warriors. It's a great webcomic I've done stuff for and with. Helped back their Kickstarter. Baker, he does The Fuzzy Princess, great webcomic, also helped back that Kickstarter. That was successful. Like, a lot of my art friends, just cool people. Look up Stratica, look up Mai, look up... I'm trying to remember all of them now. Look up Darwin, look up Aatrox, like, all these... There's so many cool people on Twitter at the moment, like, all these artists. And they're in other places, too. Like, you can look on DeviantArt and whatnot. And God forbid you look on Fur Affinity, don't do that. I have one of those, it was for business, and... It's not a great idea, it's not worth it, don't do it. Especially if you're not a furry. I mean, if you're a furry, you'll love it, but... that place. This is the source of my anxiety about AKB, to be honest. But yeah. So, I've just been working with a lot of art, so it's been really fun. And I've been working on a lot of stuff to put out. You'll start seeing a lot of stuff from me soon. You'll probably see a trailer for AKB at some point. You'll see that animation of Kabat. You'll see a Nachi trailer as well. You'll see the Patreon stuff. Pardon me. And I also have a few Discords that I'm in. There's a Housepets one, which is, just for the Housepets one. I don't have my own website. Or no, my own Discord. I do have my own website. And that's where you can find all of my art catalog. I have all of my current art put onto that site. All my art, my animation, my commission info. So if you want to commission me to draw anything, you can. But yeah, I'm currently open. As of the recording of this video, if you're reading this in a year, I'll probably still be open for a commission. But yeah, just a quick Chaoko draws. This one was actually a bit longer than I wanted. I'm using Sony Vegas now, and that doesn't really condense as quickly as I want to with speeding up. But yeah, I'm also going to change the overlay with how I record these things, because having a little Nachi go nuts in the corner doesn't really work out. You'll see in the end of the video how it's supposed to be just me nodding. It'll be put back to normal speed, which is just right about now. So yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I'm glad I can start to talk to you guys again. I don't get to do this very often, and I also don't speak very often. My jaw hurts. Anyway, later guys. Go look at my Twitter. That's where that's all you'll find me. Farewell. See you in the next video in 2 other years. Bye-bye. I'm not weird, don't judge me.